Now let's discuss about path in this particular video. So path is basically a method of traveling or moving around in a graph. It is represented using the symbol or notation P, which refers to a series or sequence of vertices that we go through while traveling or moving around in the graph. So let's explain this with an example. You can see a graph here that contains 5 vertices A, B, C, D, and E. Now suppose we want to move around in this particular graph. Let's start with the vertex C. Then from vertex C, suppose we want to move to vertex A. Then from A, we want to move to vertex B. And lastly, from B, we want to move to vertex E. So while moving around or traveling in this particular graph, we are actually going through a sequence of vertices, right? So this sequence of vertices is actually forming a path for you. So in this case, the path is CABE. So we can write P is equal to, within first bracket, C comma A comma B comma E. So CABE is a path for this graph. Then if we had started from D, moved to A, then moved to B, and lastly ended at E, then DABE would have been a path for this graph as well. So a graph may contain more than one path. That is not a problem at all. Another thing you need to remember is, for something to be called a path, the consecutive vertices in the sequence must be adjacent to one another. So in this sequence, the vertices are CABE. So the consecutive vertices, say for example CA, must be adjacent. There's an edge between CA, so CA is adjacent. Then AB must be adjacent. There's an edge between AB, so AB is also adjacent. Then BE, there's an edge between BE, so BE is also adjacent. So this condition is also satisfied, that for anything to be called a path, the consecutive vertices in the sequence must be adjacent to one another. This is also satisfied. Now let's look at this definition. This definition says a path is simple if all vertices are distinct. So we call a path a simple path if all the vertices are distinct. So you can see that there is no repetition of vertices in this sequence. C is distinct, A is distinct, B is also different or unique, E is also unique for this sequence. So since all the vertices in the sequence are unique, that means this path is called a simple path, since there is no repetition of vertices in the sequence. Another thing that I will discuss is, what is a cycle. Cycle basically refers, or cycle is a path itself, which can be represented as a sequence, since it's a path v1 v2 and it goes up to k, and it must satisfy three conditions. The first one is k must be greater than or equal to 2. The second condition is the first k minus 1 nodes are all distinct, and the third condition is v1 is equal to vk. So there are three conditions. It looks a bit complicated, but let's see this with an example. So you can see a cycle here for this graph. The cycle is CABC, so we can write it as CABC. So this is a cycle CABC. So let's see whether this thing that we have drawn is actually, or the sequence that we have written is actually fulfilling all the conditions that need to be satisfied for it to be a cycle. So let's see. A cycle is a path v1 to vk in which k is greater than or equal to 2. So in this sequence, the value of k is of course equal to 4, since in this sequence we have 4 vertices, right? So k is equal to 4. So the first condition says that k must be greater than or equal to 2. That means k is equal to 4. So this condition is satisfied. It basically means that in order to be called a cycle, the sequence of vertices must be greater than or equal to 2. That means the sequence must contain at least 2 vertices in it. The sequence must contain at least 2 vertices in it. So we have 4 vertices in the sequence. So 4 is obviously greater than 2. So the first condition is satisfied. The second condition says that the first k minus 1 nodes are all distinct. So there are four vertices in the sequence, and the first k minus 1, that means the first three vertices are distinct, right? C, A, B. There is no repetition of each of these vertices. C, A, B, there is no repetition. The first k minus 1 is distinct itself. So the second condition is also satisfied. And the last one says that v1 is equal to vk. That means that the first vertex must be equal to the last vertex. So the first vertex is C, is of course equal to the last vertex, which is also C. This means that we have formed a cycle. That means we have started from a certain vertex, and we have gone through a certain number of vertices and returned to the same vertex again. So this is a cycle. This can be called a cycle. So in order for something to be called a cycle, it must be a path, right? So since it's a path, that means it will travel to a sequence of vertices. The number of vertices in the sequence must be greater than or equal to 2. That means in order to be called a path, there must be at least two vertices. All right. And there is another condition, that is the first and the last vertex must be same. So the first and the first and the last vertex must be same. And another condition is that the first k minus 1 vertices must be distinct or unique. So in this case, there are four vertices in this particular sequence, C, A, B, C. So k minus 1 is equal to 3. So the first k minus 1 vertices must be distinct. So the first three vertices must be distinct, which is true, and hence all the three conditions are being satisfied in this case. Again, DCBD can also be a cycle. Again, DCABD can also be a cycle. So I hope you understood the meaning of path, simple path, and cycle. Now, what is a connected graph? A graph is said to be connected, or an undirected graph is said to be connected, if each vertex in the graph has a path with all the other vertices in the graph. So let's consider this particular example where you can see an undirected graph, and it has five vertices: A, B, C, D, and E. So if we consider the vertex A, you can see that there's a path between A and B. There's a direct path, and there can be indirect paths as well. As long as there are paths between A and B, that's completely fine. So A has a path with B, then you can see that A has path with C, A also has path with D, and A has path with E, ABE, or you can also say ADBE or ACBE. So as long as there are paths between a pair of vertices, it's completely fine. It doesn't matter whether it's direct or indirect. So A has paths with all the other vertices in the graph. Similarly, B has paths with all the other vertices in the graph, right? And lastly, C, D, and E also has paths with all the other vertices in the graph. As a result, since each vertex in the graph has some kind of path, direct or indirect, with all the other vertices in the graph, this particular graph can be called a connected graph. However, we cannot call this graph a connected graph, because you can see that we cannot travel from A to G, or we cannot travel from A to I, or C to I, or I to E, or something like that, because there is no path between the vertices of this component and between with the vertices of this component. Since there is a disconnection, we cannot call this graph a connected graph. However, this component separately can be called a connected component, and this component separately can be called a connected component, because if we consider this particular component, we can see that each vertex in this component has some kind of path with all the other vertices in the same component. Similarly, in this component, each vertex in the component has some kind of path, direct or indirect, with all the vertices in the same component. As a result, this component independently is called a connected component, and this component is independently called another connected component. But the overall graph cannot be called a connected graph because there is some kind of disconnection between each component. Now let's discuss what is a tree. So an undirected graph can be called a tree if these three conditions are satisfied. The first condition is the graph must be a connected graph. The second condition is the graph cannot have any cycle in it. And the last condition is the graph can have n minus 1 edges, where n is the total number of vertices. So if we consider n to be the total number of vertices, then the number of edges must be equal to n minus 1. So can we call this a tree? Yes, we can call this a tree because you can see that this all the vertices in the graph have some kind of path with all the other vertices in the graph, and this graph is connected. This graph has no cycles in it. Moreover, there are n minus 1 edges. There are a total of 9 vertices since it goes from A to I, and there are 8 edges. If we count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, so n minus 1 edges. So all the three conditions are satisfied, hence this can be called a tree. This also can be called a tree because all the three conditions are satisfied, and you can check the rest yourself. This is not a tree because there is a cycle in it.